Hello there. So we just got the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and they were pretty good. So let's talk about them. Yeah, so I definitely really enjoyed these 2 episodes. I think they're a really good introduction to this series, and I like that they put that recap of the prequels at the beginning. Obviously, I don't think many of us really needed that because I think a lot of us have been rewatching the prequels for the past 15 years, so I don't think we necessarily needed the recap of it, but it was cool to put that there to really show that this is a continuation of the prequels. Obviously it's everything after the prequels is a continuation of the prequels, so that's not that big of a surprise, but it's it just shows that the prequels are going to be very important to this story, and that's where a lot of the emotional weight to a lot of the stuff is going to be coming from, is what happened in the prequels, the fall of Darth Vader, the fall of Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader, and that effect that it had on Obi-Wan Kenobi, as I guess down the line in this show, as the end of the second episode showed, we're going to see him come face to face with Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker once again, and just showing that the events of the prequels, that fall of Anakin Skywalker and Order 66 and everything, is we're seeing the fallout of that, the effect that that had on everybody, especially Obi-Wan Kenobi in this show. And so I think it was cool that they put the recap there. Then our first thing we see after the recap is Order 66 from the perspective of this class of younglings. They have a Jedi there. I guess she was teaching class with the younglings, and then Order 66 happens. Clone troopers come in, start trying to kill them. I don't know who the Jedi is. I don't know if she's somebody we know from something else or not, but I don't know who this Jedi was, but she was pretty cool. We got to see a cool Jedi fight, trying to go up against the clone troopers, and eventually she gets killed, and the younglings end up escaping. I'm wondering where that's going to come back into play. I'm predicting that one of the younglings grows up to be the sixth sister, and that's why they kind of, throughout these 2 episodes, they're kind of not too fond of her. There's something going on with her where they don't really respect her as much. I think because she was a youngling, she was a Jedi, and she became an Inquisitor. That's my prediction. I think she was previously a Jedi. And whether or not it's that she was one of these younglings, I think that's what's going to happen. But I think probably she's going to be one of the younglings that escaped here. Now I will say, I'm starting to feel like there's just way too many people who have survived Order 66. It's just, I don't know. It's going to be did anybody actually die? I mean, obviously, a ton of the Jedi got killed during Order 66, but I don't know. It just seemed it's oh yeah, a bunch of younglings. They just escaped. Grogu, he survived. Ahsoka survived. Obviously, we knew Obi-Wan and Yoda survived. Kanan Jarrus, he survived. It's I don't know. It's going to be so many people so many Jedi who just survived Order 66, and it's I don't know. It's getting a bit this many Jedi just survived Order 66. There was a Jedi in this episode that Inquisitors were hunting down on Tatooine. I guess there's a few other Jedis out there. I guess the guy that they were hunting was probably one of the younglings that had escaped. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm really just feeling there's just there's getting to be too many people who just survived Order 66. I'm just starting to think it's just a little bit really? Okay. But, yeah, so at some point, the younglings that escaped at the beginning of this episode, I guess they're going to come back into play down the line in this show. So I'm very excited for that to come back up, and what's the purpose of it? What does it mean? How is it going to play into this story? Very excited to find that out. But then we see Inquisitors come to Tatooine looking for the Jedi. You think it's Obi-Wan at first. Like, you're like, okay, we know Obi-Wan's on Tatooine, so they're probably looking for Obi-Wan. But it's just this other Jedi that, again, I assume was one of the younglings that had escaped before. Maybe the younglings thing was just a setup that, like, there's Jedi out there that the Inquisitors are hunting down. Maybe just set up that idea. I don't know. I'm hoping that actually comes back to play. But anyway, I'm done talking about that. So trying to hunt down this Jedi. He reveals himself. He escapes. Eventually, they end up finding him and killing him at the end of the first episode. Then we see Obi-Wan. He's going through his life, doing his whole thing, and that whole sequence is showing his daily routine. Reminded me a lot of Rey's introduction in The Force Awakens, which just makes me like, oh man, like, you guys could have done something. You guys could have made Rey a Kenobi, and then, like, this would have been so cool to see, like, the mirroring of them, seeing, like, oh, cool, Obi-Wan, he's her father, grandfather, whatever, and, you're seeing, like, he's doing a similar routine to what she was doing. I think that would have been so cool if they had went that route, but, they, of course, went the Palpatine route, so, yeah, it just reminded me of Rey, his whole routine. So, yeah, so we kind of see him doing his whole thing, looking over Luke, giving him the toy, which I thought that was fun. And then kind of the big thing that sets off the events of this show is Leia gets captured, which I had no idea they were going to have Leia in this show, that they were going to have a young version of Leia. And so that was a big surprise when, like, they showed her, and I was like, oh man, that is so cool that we're getting to see what, what Leia's childhood was like. And then we see, obviously, she ends up getting captured, and Bail Organa calls Obi-Wan up. Is like, hey, I need you to save my daughter. She kind of got captured by some, bounty hunters, pirates. Somebody captured her, so, I need you to help me on this one thing. Everyone's like, I kind of have to be looking over Luke here, so I can't really help you at the moment, and I'm kind of trying to be in hiding. We got these Inquisitors looking, trying to kill all the Jedi, so, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't really do that. So he goes about his business, but then Bail Organa comes to Tatooine and is like, please, okay, you gotta help me with this whole thing. Please help me save my daughter. So he's like, all right, I'll do it. He goes to wherever he buried his lightsaber, which I guess makes this actually the first time that Anakin's lightsaber has been buried in sand on Tatooine. In fact, this is the first time. Now it makes, when Rey did it in The Rise of Skywalker, the second time that his lightsaber has been buried. I bet you he's not too fond of that his lightsaber has twice been buried in sand.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
But at least it was in a box this time. And so we find that Obi-Wan had buried both Anakin's and his lightsaber in sand. He somehow was able to remember exactly where he buried it. Not sure how he was able to do that. Maybe, like, through the Force he was able to find it. But he somehow was able to find exactly where he buried it, digs it up, and he's going to go off, save Princess Leia, young Princess Leia. And I didn't realize until like halfway through the second episode that I guess this makes it so both times that Obi-Wan has had to come out of hiding and leave Tatooine to do Jedi work again has been to save Princess Leia, and then I guess eventually come face to face once again with Darth Vader. It seems like we're going to see some similar story beats to A New Hope in this show. We've already started to see some. I think we may see a few more, or maybe the only similarity will be him going up against Darth Vader. I don't know, but I just noticed, like, that's kind of funny that, like, it's the same plotline again. I mean, sure, she's younger in this one, and it's not like she was captured by Darth Vader because she was a rebel. It was just she was captured because she was a senator's daughter who had a connection to Obi-Wan, and it was just a draw, specifically to draw him out. It's different reasons why she was captured, but she was captured in both scenarios, and they're both the reasons why Obi-Wan had to come out of hiding, both here and in A New Hope. I don't know. I found that similarity really funny that they just did that same thing again, but it was cool. I guess the whole thing with Star Wars is that it rhymes, so they could get away with doing similar plot lines again. But anyway, so second episode, we show him he lands on this planet to try to find Leia. He's asking the people around. Somebody tells him that there's a Jedi. This kid tells him there's a Jedi that will bring him to, and it ends up being the guy from Eternals that turned his back on humanity in the final battle. So at first when he took down the hood, I was like, oh man, this guy from the Eternals. Then I was like, and you turned your back on humanity in that movie. And so he's doing a whole scam, trying to make people think he's a Jedi, with magnets in his sleeves, and having somebody he calls being in on it to make it seem like he's like doing a Jedi mind trick on him. I thought that was a funny kind of bit they did there. I thought at first that he was like actually going to be a Jedi there, and he was like one of the younglings from before that had escaped, but it ended up, of course, being that it's a scam. Which I thought was kind of I think that was a fun kind of thing to have happen here. And I like how he ended up helping Obi-Wan at the end. I think that was kind of cool. Anyway, he gets information out of him. He goes to where Leia's captured. He frees her. And then we have some good interactions between Obi-Wan and Leia throughout the rest of this episode, trying to, make their way through the city without getting caught. I think they had some good interactions. I thought that was kind of a fun thing they had here. And we get to this moment where she ends up falling, and he has to use the Force to catch her, which I thought that was a cool moment. That moment where he has to use the Force once again for the first time since Revenge of the Sith, I guess. So I thought that was cool, and I thought that was gonna end up having more importance of somebody sees him and that's he has revealed himself as a Jedi once again. But it turned out it was just kind of, it didn't really become anything besides just that moment of him using the Force again, but it wasn't had ramifications on anything. And so then, as I said, guy from Eternals helps him out, says, hey, you can go up to this cargo ship, they won't be looking for you there. And so he goes there, and then Eternals guy tries to buy him some time by fighting the Sixth Sister, but he ends up failing because she can use the Force, and he doesn't have the Force, so he kind of just gets thrown off to the side, and she uses the Force to, go through his mind and find where Obi-Wan is going, and so she goes there. But we have this moment between Obi-Wan and Leia where he's like, oh, you just reminded me of somebody, and at first I was like, oh, Anakin, but then he said she, so I was like, oh, Ahsoka, and I was like, okay, no, it's Padme, I think yeah. I thought that was a cool moment there. I think that's kind of a cliche in any story where the person is with the child of somebody that they knew from their past. I think you always have the moment where they're like, oh, you remind me of somebody, where they remind them of the person that they, of one of their parents. So I thought that was a cool moment. Then Sixth Sister catches up with them. I thought we were going to have a fight. He pulls out his lightsaber, but we don't end up having a fight between them, which I can't wait for there to be a fight with Obi-Wan actually using his lightsaber. He pulled it out a few times, but he never actually ignited it, so can't wait for that to finally happen. I'm wondering if we're not going to get that until the finale when he goes up against Darth Vader or something, but I can't wait for that to happen. But anyway, Six Sisters don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to bring you to him. I'm going to bring you to Darth Vader. That's right, Anakin Skywalker is alive. You didn't know that. And so we see Obi-Wan has found out Anakin's still alive as Darth Vader. And then the Grand Inquisitor comes in and he stops the sister. He's like, I can't let him get away again. And then she ends up stabbing the Grand Inquisitor. Which, is that him dying? Because that's not how he dies. He's in Rebels. And he dies at the end of season 2 of Rebels, so we're like 5 years too early. If that was him dying, I mean, they just made Rebels not canon then, right? Or this isn't canon. Like, they just ruined it then. If they had the Grand Inquisitor die here, like, did they not realize? It can't be. It can't be his death. Somehow he survives this. But like, if this is actually the way the Grand Inquisitor dies in the show, that's just really terrible, because that just makes it so Rebels, they just don't care about Rebels, I guess. If that's the case, they're just like, oh yeah, right, he was in Rebels, and he dies a completely different way 5 years later. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that they did not do that. That they did not, like, just overlook that detail, that he was in Rebels, that he's in stuff after this, that take place after this, and he dies at another point in time. I am really hoping this was not them just killing him off too early. But anyway, Obi-Wan and Leia are able to escape, and Obi-Wan's a little bit shook up from finding out that Anakin is still alive, and then we cut to Anakin, Darth Vader, in the back to tank bath thing, whatever it is, and you hear the and so we're gonna get some Darth Vader in the show. We already knew that, obviously, from being confirmed by various things and the trailer showing it to us, but man, I can't wait to get some Darth Vader. I really hope that it's like next episode that we get it, and it's not like the finale. Same thing with, again, Obi-Wan using his lightsaber. I really hope that like we get it soon, and it's not like we have to wait till the finale to actually see him ignite the lightsaber. But anyway, I guess they're on this cargo ship. Obi-Wan and Leia are on the cargo ship going to some other place, and so I assume like we're gonna get some stuff in the following episodes with Obi-Wan and Leia. More interactions between them, trying to get her back to her parents, and I'm assuming some problems will occur with that, so she'll have to stay with him till the end of the show. Maybe she'll be there when he's with Darth Vader, and we'll kind of an interesting thing there. And also, I guess, assume that this show is kind of going to be a bit of like an origin story for Princess Leia, becoming a rebel, wanting to, fight against the Empire. I assume we're going to have some of that in this show, kind of showing why she becomes the way that we see her in the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy. I assume there's going to be a bit of that in this show, and that was definitely, again, a big surprise. I didn't realize they were going to have Leia stuff in this, so I think that was a really cool detail that they threw in there. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this show. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here with the Inquisitors, and seeing Ian McGregor back as Obi-Wan, seeing some continuations from the prequels, seeing some setup for A New Hope for the original trilogy, seeing, again, I guess, an origin story for Princess Leia. Very excited for where this is going, seeing some Darth Vader down the line, seeing, I guess, we're supposed to get a duel between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, a rematch between them, so can't wait to see that. Yeah, I'm definitely really enjoying this show. Can't wait to see future episodes where this is going next. I think it's going to be a really good one. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Please comment below yours, and remember to give this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and maybe check out some of my other videos. And with that said, that's a wrap.